Hey, good afternoon. You got Reverend Ira Ackley here, the co-host of the All Hands on Deck. Today, my co-host, Gregory Seal Livingston, called in sick. He's under the weather. But anyhow, we're going to still have a good time today. And hopefully between now and all of this bad weather, he feels good enough to call in. Last week we were out of town. But we are back, and today we're going to be talking about some interesting subjects. Number one, we are going to be talking about Kwame Raoul, this new Attorney General of Illinois. Showed a lot of courage. He showed a lot of boldness, and he showed that he's his own man because he dared to take on the system that gave Jason Van Dyke, the officer who shot the 17-year-old Laquan McDonald 16 times and only got 81 months from the judge. We're going to be talking about that, and we are going to visit once again this mayoral election. The mayor's election is wide open. I don't care what anybody say. This election is wide open. We've seen so many ups and downs in this election. We've seen so many scandals. So many people and politicians are connected to Ed Burke, the Big Four, Tony Preckwinkle, Susan Mendoza, Bill Daley, and Gary Chico. They are both tied to Ed Burke in this major, significant scandal. And we'd like to hear from you. Tell us your thoughts. Call us 312-738-1060. All hands on deck. And for those of you that are just tuning in for the very first time, let me introduce myself. I am Ira Ackley, and I pastor the greatest church on this side of heaven, Greater St. John Bible Church. It's in the Austin community, and we over there existing, trying to renew lives, transforming the community, and changing the world. And we're doing it one life at a time. I'm also the chairman of the Austin Empowerment Coalition, and I'm also the co-chairman of the Leaders Network. We are a social justice organization, a civil rights organization that's West Side based and faith-based led. But we bring all of the tables, all of the community partners to the table, and we challenge everybody to discover the leader in you. Discover the leader in you. We need everybody working together, trying to empower the masses, and also to build up the marginalized. So we welcome you to call in today to All Hands on Deck, 312-738-1060. Nearly a month after a Cook County judge sent Jason Van Dyke to prison for killing 17-year-old Laquan McDonald, it turns out that the legal battle over the former cop's fate is still not over. Attorney General Kwame Raoul and Special Prosecutor Joseph McMahon filed a petition with the Illinois Supreme Court, challenging them to make sure that this particular officer does not get away with improper sentencing by this judge. This is amazing. In my lifetime, this is unprecedented. I am encouraged to see an attorney general have the audacity, even while he is a freshman, a rookie, in the beginning stages of his career, to have the nerve to act like he has an independent thought. And I can tell you, as a black man in this city, when you try to have an independent thought, Some of the people in power are very perturbed by that. So I really want to let everybody in the state of Illinois know that many of us who consider ourselves as prophets to this current generation, we appreciate this courageous type effort and the vision and the hope that has been portrayed and exhibited by Kwame Raoul on today, saying that this young life does matter. We always talk about all lives matter, but clearly it appears that the judicial system was saying that Laquan McDonald's life really didn't matter. So we're just grateful for that. We also want to say a word about this upcoming election. Don't you be fooled by any stretch of the imagination. This mayor's race is a long way from over. I see that I really believe out of the 14 candidates, there are those who are favored. But I believe there are about 7 candidates that you better keep your eyes on. We already know you better watch out for Bill Daley. Watch out for Tony Preckwinkle. Watch out for Gary Chico. Susanna Mendoza, although she had some missteps and a whole lot of hiccups, you still better watch out for her. Never underestimate Dr. Willie Wilson. Willie has a simple way of portraying his message, and he has an authentic heart that everybody can see. And he is leading among the black race. He's leading among African Americans. He's leading in our community ahead of Tony Preckwinkle. Then you can't dismiss Lori Lightfoot. That really does mean something. That really does mean something when a candidate gets an endorsement from a newspaper. And Lori Lightfoot got an endorsement from the Sun-Times. Truth of the matter is, she's probably down there in 6th place in the polling right now. But hey, listen, these percentage points are so close. I think I saw Tony Preckwinkle lead in one poll 15%, then the next person was at 14, Daley, and Willie Wilson and Chico were like 12. These percentages are so close. So a hiccup here and hiccup there, and somebody else getting a big donation wherein they can buy some more camera time, it could really make a difference. Listen, don't you count out Amara Enya. Amara Enya was by the Leaders Network's monthly meeting today, and she made a great impression. She was very good. So many people were in the room. There was a diverse group, and I was really surprised at the reception because, it was a diverse group there. There were African Americans and there were Caucasians. Also, there were people from Oak Park and from Humboldt Park. But she made a big score, and they asked her that question about her finances that was detailed in a scathing Tribune article. And she responded quite well. She basically sounded like you and me. She doesn't have a whole lot of money and millions of dollars. You know, when you have millions of dollars, you can hire people to clean up all that kind of stuff. But she's had, maybe like some of you all, you may have bad credit. Some of you all who may owe the government. Some of us who still have issues with taxes. But nevertheless, we still consider ourselves people of integrity. In fact of the matter, all of these people who portrayed themselves for like 5 decades, like Ed Burke, as people of integrity, when the rubber hits the road, we clearly see that they've been hiding behind their big bucks and their bully pulpits. So, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, friends and frenemies, we have a lot going on in Chicago. Anybody got any predictions? Anybody got any predictions about who's going to make it to the runoff? Those of you that are new to politics, let me tell you, with 14 candidates in the race, nobody will win this race outright because there are 14 candidates and the winner must get at least 50% plus one to be declared a victor. In none of the polls so far has anyone got as high as 16 and a half. None of the polls. So, hey, it's wide open. And a lot of people, when it comes down to politics, some people, they look at who has the possibility of winning and they don't want to vote for a loser. So what they'll do is they'll look at the polls and say, well, I'm going to go with this person because they're in the top three and they have a realistic possibility of winning. Guess what? All of those 7 names have a realistic possibility of winning. So you better vote your conscience and vote your interest. Vote your interest. Anybody have anything to say? Call us up and let's talk about this Kwame Raoul decision. Do you think Jason Van Dyke should get more than 81 months? Many people say, of course he should, because person who killed Hadiah Pendleton got 81 years. I think that's an argument that's being made. If you want to make that argument, you can make it. But the truth of the matter is that argument may have some holes in it because this young man that killed Hadiah Pendleton, the truth of the matter is he had a lot of stuff on his track record, and he had done a lot of horrific things. This other gentleman was a police officer, and well, on the other hand, there's some reports of police misconduct that were made toward Officer Jason Van Dyke, but he never was punished. And perhaps, had he been punished, perhaps Laquan McDonald would still be alive today. But we're so appreciative of this. I want to say something, though, nevertheless. I had a funny feeling about McMahon. You know, McMahon really is not with the deal of asking the Illinois Supreme Court to look into this sentencing again. He's supposed to represent the family of Laquan McDonald. It's amazing to see him standing with Kwame Raoul, because I remember on the day that the judge gave the sentence, to my surprise, he basically placated to the judge, he kissed up to the judge, and said he was very pleased with the sentencing. I said, whoa, are you serious? And so to see him bounce back a month later, it's just, there's a dead cat on the line. McMahon, I don't know about this guy. And I was reading in the paper earlier how McMahon was basically saying that Tina Hunter, who is the mother of Laquan McDonald, that she really wanted this to be over with. And so he was basically going to let it go away. And another family member pushed, the uncle pushed, Reverend Hunter pushed, and said, "Hey, let's push this a little bit because my nephew deserves justice." And we believe if it goes back to the judge with all of this scrutiny, he would have to do the right thing. Well, personally, I don't know about that, because the whole world was watching Judge Vaughn the first time. He did not bow to the pressure of that. I don't believe he will bow this time. But certainly, people know that there are some issues with this sentencing. Still, the issues at play in Van Dyke's sentencing, they were complicated enough that the legal community can't even seem to find a consensus on. There are people on one side saying that this case was not properly judged. And then there are others saying it's just too complicated. All I know is, for me as a layman, to hear a judge list all of these charges, 16 different charges, and then basically say, well, I'm going to just deal with one charge because this is much more serious than the other 16. It didn't pass the smell test for me. It did not pass the smell test. So this is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. This is going to be very interesting. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd love to hear from you. Some of you are leaving messages on social media. You have the opportunity to call in 312-738-1060. I'm wondering what will happen in this mayoral race if Bill Daley meets Tony Preckwinkle. What happens? Who wins? I'm also wondering what happens if Tony Preckwinkle meets Susanna Mendoza. Who wins? Then I also see another scenario. What if Uncle Willie, yes, meets Tony Preckwinkle? What happens if Amara and Tony meet? What happens? One of the things, Amara has some fundraising issues, but Chance, he jumped on out there. He need to tell his friends to bring some more of that dough and put in her political war chest if they are really, really serious about winning. Truth of the matter is, the young lady has already won because people know she's smart, she is young, and she's given some attention to the west side of our city. The west side has been dismissed for many years as the stepchild of the city. You don't get no respect if you're from the west side. And that's why I want to pause here and put in a plug for the city clerk. I'm going to get personal right now. I'm going to give my opinion on that race for the treasurer, city treasurer rather. There are going to be some people trying to replace Kurt Summers. But there is a young woman who has a degree in finance. She is the only person that was born and raised in Chicago. Her name is Melissa Conyers Irving. That should be the next city treasurer. She is very good. Now, this is one person that I can stand by and stand behind 110%. You know why? Because I can say I helped raise her. That's right. That's my little church sister. Years ago when I was playing the organ at the jail, well, it wasn't the JLM. Abundant Life Center then. We were over there on Huron Street, 3555 West Huron at Mount Vernon Church. And Melissa Conyers Irving comes from a good family. She's very smart, got all these degrees. She is the type of person that will represent us well. And do you not know, once she wins, and she will win, look at the segregation in our city. Not just black and white, but as relates to sides of town. If she wins, let me make that modification. When she wins, Melissa Conyers Irving will be the first West Sider elected to a citywide office. And we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. Thank you so much for tuning in. We always have a blast. We will be hearing, moving forward, from Reverend Gregory Seal Livingston. He'll be back with us next week. And we're going to have some guest co-hosts coming in to share with us. Doris Davenport, who co-hosted with us in the past. She'll be back in the studio again. The beautiful Miss Doris Davenport. And also my former producer and good friend, Marcia Eaglin. She's going to be in. We were on the radio together a few years ago, and she was really a great publicist for me. If you guys ever see me in the media at any point, it's because of the media skills that she shared with me and, you know, the coaching that she did. But anyway, it's been wonderful. It's been great. Early voting has begun. Make sure you get out there and vote early. Is that all right? Thank you so much for watching. It's been a great show. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've been inspired. I hope you're ready to go vote for the mayor of your choice. I've been telling everybody, go and vote your interests. Go and vote for the person, those in my community, go and vote for the person that you really believe, has the vision and the plan to end a tale of two cities. Listen, in a perfect world for me, I'd like to see, in a perfect world, we can dream, Amara Inya and Dr. Willie Wilson meet in the runoff. I would love to see that happen. And at that point, I almost told you who I'd vote for. Well, guess what? Most of us, my friends, would flip a coin and say wherever the chips fall, we win. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you, and thank you for tuning in to All Hands on Deck. See you next week. Be blessed, my friends.